The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
World-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Bob, how you doing?
Doing well.
Doing well?
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got a guest in here this morning, Bob. Who do we have?
We got athletic director and head baseball coach Justin McDonald here. A lot going on. School season will be here before you know, but the summer programs are underway. Also, first of all, we want to start with the Wayne County High School Baseball Camp. That's an annual event during the summer for kids ages 5 and up. Runs daily from 9:30 to 12. The date's the 17th through the 20th. Coach, just talk about that for a second. Again, you've been here long enough. Some of those kids that come through camp now playing on your high school baseball team, but it's been a fun event throughout the summer. And tell us what all takes place during that week of instruction for these kids.
Oh, yeah, being here, the time I have, I told the guys this morning, especially that freshman group that's coming in now, I remember them very vividly coming through the camp, and then, they won that 10U state championship, GRPA state championship with Mike Roberts coaching them, and, now they're in the high school, and I can remember just recently going out to Bill Morris out here and watching them, or Ben Park out there to watch them play, and that's something that I take pride in, and we're trying to filter that all through our athletic department. Is you get to know these kids from a young age, and when I say young, I'm talking 7, 8, 9, 10, and you go ahead and put the name with the face, and kind of follow them, and obviously a baseball camp or softball or basketball or football camp give them opportunity to get around the players. I know. I told our guys this morning, next week they don't want to see me. They want to see you guys. So they want to be around the players, the guys that they get to see go put on the uniform and compete. And, again, it's it's a stressful week, and it's a long week, especially in the month of June with the heat and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, when you see kids having fun playing baseball, and, I think we're over 50-something signed up now. So, we'll probably be close to 60 or 70. And, that's important to me that baseball is important here, and the kids want to be a part of it. And, our job is to get them better that week, but most of all have fun. And, obviously there's a lot of talent, as you could tell, in the recreation department with, I think, a clean sweep of the district tournaments here in baseball. Everybody won it. So, that a great job by Spec Eccles and those his staff are putting that together, and the coaches and the players. And, that kind of makes our job easy. Sometimes, a lot of places you may have to teach kids how to win. They learn how to win at an early age here, and I think that's very important that they win at that age and they continue to develop. But, next week's about having fun and working on their skills, and, from ages 5 to middle school. So, again, we're looking forward to it. It's something we do every year. I think Coach Brockenden has the softball camp going at the same time that week as well. So, we'll continue to get kids signed up and be ready to go on Monday.
So if somebody out there listening wants their kid to sign up for this program, what's the best way to sign up? We give the website. Is that the best way to go? WayneBaseballCamps.com?
Yeah, there's WayneBaseballCamps.com, and you click on the baseball camp, or if you want to sign up for Coach Brock's softball camp, it's on that same website. Also, if they don't want to go that route, we'll have a tent set up on Monday where they can walk up and register. They'll just have to sign or fill out a sheet, so we make sure we got some things we need, and especially T-shirt size, because they will get a T-shirt at the end of the week. But they will be able to pay in cash or check to our booster club when they they come on Monday. If they don't want to go to the website, the website's a little more convenient. Everything's done. We print it off and we have it there. All they do is walk in and check in on Monday. So again, but if they want to do it on WayneBaseballCamps.com, or they can register at the tent on Monday.
And that final day, they give out awards. So it's a competition. So, again, The kids enjoy it. So, like you mentioned, you'll have former coach or former players there, current players there, and that's what the kids enjoy as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're working on some former players that are in town to try to be there and help out. And, we got some that are playing big-time baseball, and also some that are possibly having a chance to go play professionally here soon. So, I want to try to get those guys out there and let those kids see them. And, again, I think there may be a few. I know my son don't want to see me out there every day, so he wants to be around the players and hang out with those guys and listen to what they have to tell him. And, I think that's one thing our guys don't really understand at the high school level is the impact they have on the younger generation. And, even an upcoming senior now, like our juniors from last year that put a huge impact on our season. Those guys that were in the 8th grade, I don't think those juniors or upcoming seniors really understand that those guys they're looking up to them the same way as like a 7, 8, 9-year-old looks up to them. And, sometimes that needs to be put in perspective for those guys, that everything you do and everything you say is being watched by somebody. And, it's no different next week. We need to set the standard of what Wayne County baseball is for the younger generation.
And just joining us in the studios with us is athletic director and head baseball coach Jesup McDonald. And again, it's a busy summer. We've been mentioning on our sportscast, all the off-season conditioning programs are underway for every sport. And it's not just football anymore. Baseball, softball, volleyball, everybody's got an off-season conditioning program. They're all up there Monday through Thursday, lifting weights. Football teams out there getting ready for the upcoming season with Coach Moore and his staff. So a lot going on during this summer for high school athletes.
There is, and I this is probably the most important part of going into the season, and for anybody, getting their players in there and kind of getting a head start. Obviously, if you're not in season when school starts, you got to go through the 4-on-1 method. But during the summer, you're able to have everybody together, and our basketball teams are going off and playing. We got soccer out there getting after it. Soccer has a couple contests here in the summer. Tennis is going. Softball, baseball, football, everything's, you really got to do it to get ahead of everybody else because everybody else is doing it. So, obviously this is a very important part of the entire season. That's the summer, especially you get the first glimpse of what your team's going to look like for the next season or kind of an idea of what you got. So, give credit our coaches. They're putting in the time and, being up there and giving their kids the opportunity to get better and get stronger this summer.
And this is the upcoming season. Like I said, it'll start in August. It'll be here before you know it. But I know the new joint middle school is going to start. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm hearing all kinds of stories out there. We're not going to be able to do this. Not going to explain what's going on. Were they going to be able to compete for championships?
They're not going to be able to compete for championships this year. Now the schedules are set. They're going to play they're actually going to probably play more games. We're going to be allowed to give them more games than what they previously have. I think the one thing that people really need to understand is at this point, the way it is now, that 6th and 7th grade group has a full schedule. They're going to play just as many games as the 8th grade group, and whereas before they wasn't really playing at all. They were more of a spectator and a practice player. I think in middle school, for obviously you trying to build your rosters and trying to build the depth of a sport. I think you have to reward those guys or those girls with some kind of contest for them putting in the practice and putting in the work, because there's not many kids at that age just want to go practice. They want to go play games and obviously compete, and again, there's no substitutes for competition. So I think that's the one thing that the big thing is those 6th and 7th graders are going to have an opportunity to play, and they're going to play a full schedule just like Arthur Williams and Martha Puckett did last year. That's for our 8th grade and 6th and 7th grade. Everybody's going to play games. So, the fall schedules are out. That was, I could get into the situation with the conference. There's a few schools in our conference that don't really like what we're doing, but they think we're going to dominate everything. And I've assured them we're not going to dominate every sport. We haven't dominated anything. There's a few other schools in our conference that have dominated everything, and they have one middle school program. So, again, at the end of the day, when you're in 6th and 7th grade and you're 8th grade, to me, obviously there's a developmental standpoint of it, of kids getting better. But if we're going to play somebody in middle school as one middle school team, and then somebody don't want us to play them as one, or don't want to play us because we are one middle school team, what's the difference in us playing them in the 9th and 10th grade? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to play them in JV sports all across, especially our surrounding counties. We're going to play them in football, softball, basketball, baseball, soccer. We're going to play them in those sports, and it's the same kids you're playing with. So I don't really understand their structure of what they're thinking, but there is going to be games, the championship. We're going to reward these people with something. There's a state cross country meet that we're going to get our cross country teams to go compete in. So there's stuff that we're going to give them an opportunity to go compete for stuff and play at a real high level.
Well, who made the decision we can't compete for the championship?
That was within the conference.
I keep hearing one school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rumor. The rumor is, and I'll just throw it out there. Pure. I mean, who made them King of Siam?
Well,
I mean, what makes them? And where's the rule? I mean, is there a guideline that says we can't compete for champion?
Well, I've sat in those meetings within the conference, and Coach Sheila Brockenden did a great job of creating a spreadsheet of over the last, I think it was last 5 years of basically a point system, or I'm not real. I think within some of the teams in the conference, they created it with I think she presented it to me, but they had basically, you got so many points for winning a championship, so many points for being a runner-up. I think we may have broke 10 points or 15 points in one school, and maybe the other one was around 7, 8, 9. But then you have some other ones that are at 54 and 44, and we never dominated anything. So
that's what I'm confused. Like I said, the reason we combine is so we can be competitive, and
Yes.
now they're saying we can't compete for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, Ware still is bigger than we are, even when we combine.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm just confused on who made the decision. Where is it in the guidelines? We can't compete for champion.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
And again, that was solely made, and give our administration credit for allowing us to move forward with it. And obviously, it's a 1-year trial run, but at the end of the day, we're trying to do what's best for Wayne County. And
Is this championship thing just for the first year?
Yeah, and then there's some ideas of creating another conference. There's some schools around us. I know Richmond Hill's one of them. They have the same format as we do, and they're dealing with some of the same stuff within their conference. So, I've talked with the Ware County. There's a lot of pride in wearing the old Waycross black and red over there, or the red and black over there. So, if they can get over that, you can see them. They have trouble in some sports filling teams, and you can see some people once somebody, we may be the first one to do it, and then you may see some other schools that have the same issues that we have kind of follow suit. But again, we're doing what we think is best for us here in Wayne County. When you look at, and I use the Martha Puckett girls basketball team. They didn't win it. Some of those girls never won a game in middle school, and Coach Hobbs, what about that marginal player that decided not to continue to play because of
pride, to get frustrated,
because there's no success in there, and that girl may help her get over the hump and obviously win a region championship, state championship at some point. But it's more about development and making sure if you're not practicing, you're not playing, you're not developing, and that's kind of my mindset on it. Obviously, winning championships and things, that's a reward to the kid, but we want to make sure those kids are getting better in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they're ready to compete at a high level in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And, obviously this is the first step of getting there. And, I've been here 15 years, and I've seen, just from a baseball standpoint, I've seen the baseball programs at each school fluctuate where one's really good. They've never been equal. There's one really good or one really bad. So it's or there's one non-competitive and one competitive. So it's kind of fluctuated. There may be a few years where they can go toe-to-toe, but, why not put the 2 8th grade shortstops on one team? Let's find out who the shortstop is in 8th grade. And then, obviously, I think it builds competition within them, and then also allows them to develop and, play with chemistry and play with each other. And, I don't care too much about the rivalry of two middle schools. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we're putting on one jersey that says one thing, and we're competing for one high school and one community.
In high school, we're going into a new region, but the middle school is a different conference, right?
Correct.
So I didn't realize. So who else in the middle school conference? I mean, is it?
You got Ware and Waycross, Brantley, Pierce, Appleton, Long, Charlton.
Is Brantley in there?
Brantley's in there.
Okay.
I think that's about it.
So it's different than the high school.
Yes, it's different.
High school's going into
they call
it's
it's the Southeast Georgia Middle School.
Right.
Play folks close by.
Right.
Yeah.
like we should in high school.
Right. Exactly. I was like, why can't we get that in the high school then? Why am I going to Warner Robins? Why am I going to Perry? I mean,
Yeah, there's some, Coffee has the same, they do the same thing as we do as far as the combining Richmond Hill. Obviously, we're doing it now. So, again, we'll work on, if that's the worst thing that's going to happen is us not to be able to compete for a championship, again, we're going to reward those kids with playing something.
But is that only for the first year? If the board decides next year we're going to keep this combined, then we compete for it next year?
Yeah.
Because I've seen situations in sports where something new comes up and they can't compete that first year for a championship, like a new school or something like that, and then the next year they can.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's what's best for us, and again, it's a 1 year. They voted for just this year to not compete for championships, but what they're going to see is my philosophy is, would we rather not compete for a championship and have enough kids to participate in tennis? Whether
it's a lot better.
Let's say compete in it,
Yeah.
and this year we already combined in track and tennis and golf. So those were already combined, and we were allowed to compete in the championship. So at some point you'll see this, and I think in the future, if this continues to flow well, that we'll be back in the conference just like we were.
Well, if you got Ware County doing it and Richmond doing it, then
So or
somebody had to say no, you can't do it. Who was that? He's not going to say.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just one. There was a
There was a vote.
It was a vote. Yeah, and obviously we had to be in. Our 2 middle school ADs had to stay out of it because we were the ones getting voted. So,
everybody looks out for themselves.
Yeah, so it was. I think it was pretty unanimous that they didn't want us to. Which, again, I don't. When you got one school that's got 1,200 kids and we got 1,500, I'm talking about we're playing in a classification with kids that have 400 or 500 more kids than us in high school. So I don't think sometimes I think it's more of again, I love competing, I love winning, and we want to win those championships and those state titles at the high school level. But winning in middle school is the last. It's kind of the last thing for me to worry about winning. And I think some of those schools within our middle school conference, it's all about winning to them. And we're more about development and building numbers and making sure kids are enjoying what they're doing and putting around people and coaches that are going to have an influence on their life, and not just on the field, but just in general within the school building outside of school. So I think that's something that people may not understand, because a lot of people love to win the championships in middle school. But, at the end of the day, you can tell if a team is coached well and they play well just by how their kids enter into the high school and how they flow into that program at the high school. And that's what we're looking for. There's no more looking at the high school and the varsity teams and going down and then it splits off. It's in one straight line, and it's all flowing in the same direction and under one expectation, one standard, one culture of that program is all set in one straight line. So, again, this will be the first year. I know there's going to be issues that come up and things that may come up, but you got people there that's going to make sure it gets done right, and I take real pride in it and huge responsibility to make sure this does work.
Well, I think the school board made a good decision in letting the sports combine in the middle schools, so you can have winning teams and player development. That one line, as you said, from the middle schools into high school, because they'll all be Yellow Jackets one day. And I just think it was a great decision, because we've seen it through the years. Sometimes we read scores on the air on some of our teams in middle school just getting blown out by a team here, a team there, and that kind of. And the athletes get discouraged, and then you don't see them in high school. So if you can put together winning programs on a consistent basis in the middle schools, then they're more likely to stay and move into the high school in those different sports.
And a lot of those, and our rec department does and those guys does an outstanding job of. Those schedules are kind of correlated where, they can participate in middle school athletics and then get the opportunity to participate in recreation. So, I don't necessarily want middle school sports to be a recreational sport where everybody gets opportunity. Obviously you got tryouts and you get the best out there, but there is still a chance for those that aren't quite at that point yet to go get involved in rec department and get those games and those practices and those reps, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever it may be, tennis, to go get that stuff in the rec department to be able to continue to get better. And I think that's a huge asset to this community, is being those kids being able to do both. And, the more you get, the better you're going to get.
Okay. Baseball banquet just concluded. A lot of players in the all-region. Is the all-state able to announce that yet?
Well, I got a text here. They're waiting on one classification to finish up. So I don't know which classification that is, because I knew I was coming on this morning, or I was going to send it to you to have it. But, I guess that will be released as soon as they finish.
Because I've heard that we do have a player on the all-state team.
We got some guys that are well-deserved to be on there. And, I'm proud of those guys. And, obviously – once you get on that, you kind of put yourself on that map to be one of the best in the state, and obviously you got to continue to perform. So, but that should be released this week, hopefully, when that one classification finishes up their selection.
I know it was tough for you to say bye to 10 seniors, but there is still a lot of talent coming back. And again, the program, you have a summer program going on currently for the high school.
We do, and we're not doing a lot of. I guess we're only going to play like 3 or 4 times with our group, and it's kind of low key because most of our older guys are off playing. They're going for, we have some out in Texas last week. We had some in Atlanta all weekend. We got some leaving tomorrow to head out all next week. So, it's kind of coming and going. And, they got to get up there in those, whether it's down in Palm Beach or Fort Myers or Hoover or Atlanta. They got to get in those places to be able to be seen and be showcased. But, there's a constant communication with our coaching staff and those guys, making sure, obviously, that they're keeping their body healthy and doing the right things to obviously be able to compete year-round and, obviously have some time off going into school there too. But, there's a lot of good things happening with our guys out in the summer. And, again, that's beneficial to us. I know most of our things that we're doing is there's a few older guys mixed in, but a lot of us with the younger guys. Now I would be proud. We went over to a little team camp yesterday at Georgia Southwestern, and those guys went through a lot of those upcoming ninth graders hadn't been through any kind of pro style workout or showcase style stuff. So they got an opportunity to go through a workout and then play a game against Lee County, and they did an outstanding job. We ended up Lee was dealing with the same thing that we're dealing with a lot of their older guys going off and playing, but we had predominantly younger guys, and I think we had one guy that was a starter last year on the field. So, but they we beat them 11-1. So they played well, pitched well, and competed at a high level. So again, we'll continue. I think we do have a home game. We are going to play Jeff Davis next Tuesday night. Or Tuesday at 5 o'clock. They'll come to Jesup. That'll be the only time we play at home, and then we have one more the next week against Brunswick at Brunswick. So it's more to give those kids that didn't have opportunity to get on one of those teams, give them opportunity to get some reps with what we do. And again, that's a lot for the younger guys. You got that upcoming ninth grade group. They're going to compete for that 14U state championship, so they'll be involved in that. And that's where you get kind of we don't throw those guys a lot with us because there's a difference in you got the 54 versus 60 foot. So, again, those guys, there is a lot of talent, and those 10 guys that we lost, it was crazy when I walked in the weight room that first day, and then the second day and third day, you keep looking for those certain guys, and they're not there. So when you got 10 of them, there's a lot of holes to be filled and a lot of empty racks where those guys usually were. So, again, that one probably hit me a little bit harder because of the number of them. So just the number they were and the impact that a lot of those guys had on me. But, again, there's a lot of talent coming in. And, you get that team in there, and I'm sure every head coach does this. You look around and you say, are we going to be able to win with this? And, the answer is yes. So, it's not even a hesitation of whether or not we can win with this. So, obviously, we got to continue to work and stay healthy and just let it go day by day.
Okay, Coach, we'll look forward to the camp next week. Appreciate you coming in, and look forward to the upcoming football season, volleyball season, cross getting to be here before you know it. You mentioned all the time summer goes quick, but
correct.
Appreciate you coming in.
I was talking to Coach Brockton, and I think he plays it's either 3 or 4 games before schooling starts. So
regular games?
Yeah, I think that's what he had told me.
Not
so it's
preseason,
yeah, so
exhibition, regular games, 3 before school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes, with the scheduling stuff with Georgia High School, they added the open weekend football. I don't know if you've seen the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I saw
is
that.
an
We're
open
not going to have any games during Thanksgiving week, so that's good. So
yeah,
that's the good news. I was glad to see. They don't make many good decisions, but that is a good decision that give everybody a regular Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
So the football games during
and the only issue I see from it is it lengthens the season a little more, and then you one big issue with high school kids, they specialize or you I think there needs to be a medium where for instance, a basketball player that plays football now, he may miss 30% of the season if they play for a state championship. So what does that do to him? What do I want to go play basketball or do I want to play football? Because I know here we want them to play everything. We want to have 3 sport athletes or 2 sport athletes or even 4 in some cases. We'll make ways for them to play, but sometimes that stuff overlaps. Even basketball overlaps with baseball, and wrestling overlaps with baseball and spring sports. So again, hopefully they can work that out and not trying to squeeze everything in from August to May and keep adding sports. So,
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Murphy Builder Supply, Van's Barbecue, and First Southern Bank.